we'll wrap up. We're at about 50 minutes here, so we'll wrap up with one last topic. The topic I think that comes up in every single consultation: child support. So, how does Georgia do child support?
Georgia uses something called the income shares models. Just to give you some context, it used to be that they only looked at what the paying party is making, and then they took a percentage range of their income. It was somewhere like between 17 and 23%. That was the old days. About 15 years ago, they changed it to looking at the incomes of both parties, and it's all done in a spreadsheet. So we don't do it manually. We just enter the information in the spreadsheet. But then there's deviation pages and all. So they enter it. They look at mom's income, dad's income, costs for things like health care, other expenses, extracurricular activities, etc. After school, daycare, things like that. Put it into the worksheet, and then it pops out a number. Then we can make some deviations, either upper or lower to it. What I try and do as much as I can, especially when I'm representing dads who are most frequently the ones paying the child support, I try and keep certain items that I know are not going to be forever items. I try and keep them out of the child support worksheet. I'll give you an example. Daycare. Let's say you got 4-year-old and 6-year-old kids, and the 4-year-old is in full-time daycare, and maybe that's $1,200 a month. 6-year-old kid might be in after-school daycare, and maybe that's $300 a month. If those things get put into the child support worksheet, dad will be paying on those items until he goes back and gets those things removed by doing a modification of the child support. If we keep those off the child support worksheet and we handle them off the worksheet in a percentage split basis, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, whatever it is, those are then going to be reimbursed on an as incurred basis after showing proof of the expense. So that means that when you're no longer paying $1,200 a month for the 4-year-old, because now the 4-year-old is in kindergarten or first grade, and it tapers down to where maybe it's $300 a month, well, then dad is only paying his X percentage on the $300 a month. And when the younger one is 6, maybe the older one is 8. Maybe the 8-year-old doesn't need any aftercare. Maybe because they're 8, it's down to $100 a month. It would be incredibly expensive to go back and do a modification of a whole child support worksheet, not to mention the fact that it could take anywhere from 2 months on the short side to 6 or 8 months to get into court, and the existing child support order is in place until it's modified. Now, you can ask that it be modified retroactively back to the date of filing, but a lot of judges don't do that. So what it means is they could be stuck on the hook not only for expenses that they're no longer incurring, but now throughout the whole pendency of the case, they could be stuck on the hook for paying these expenses which are no longer being incurred. So dads out there, hear me. Any expenses that the other party that mom wants to put on the child support worksheet that are not forever expenses, try your best to keep them off the child support worksheet and handle them on a reimbursement basis. Here in Georgia, another thing that a lot of people do is they try and negotiate split of expenses for extracurricular activities. But extracurricular activities are already built into the basic child support amount, which means that the court cannot force either parent to supplement the extracurricular activity expense, such as 50-50, 80-20, 30-70, whatever it is. The court can't force you to do that. If a parent signs up to split extracurricular expenses, they need to know that that's on them. That's a voluntary thing. And what I do is I do a 3-tiered cap, typically on extracurricular expenses. I might do like a K-4 cap per parent, a 5-8 cap per parent, and a 9-12 cap per parent. It would typically increase a little bit, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to hand the other party an open checkbook, because you don't know if you leave it unspecified, parties are going to split their extracurricular expenses with no cap. Well, what if somebody has a rich uncle who says, let's put the kid on horseback riding lessons, and that's $6,000 a year, but the rich uncle is going to pay for it. Well, now the other party is on the hook for $3,000 a year on the horseback riding lessons. So these are kinds of things and reasons why, guys, you need a strong, knowledgeable attorney, one who's been through it, preferably, But even if they haven't been through it, there's a lot of good guys and women and family rights attorneys out there who can help you out.
Yeah, definitely. And the one major thing I wish I could shout from the mountaintops about child support is if you lose your job, if there's a major change, if you have more kids, there's many reasons in every state. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to your attorney and say, we need a modification, because I don't know of a state that will allow you to backdate things. They may be able to backdate to filing, but I had a ton of guys the back half of 2021 come into my office and say, hey, I lost my job, so I wasn't making any money all of 2020 and the beginning of 2021, so I need to get my child support adjusted back there. Most states you're not going to be able to get that backdated, but you can a lot of times get it from date of filing, or worst case scenario, get into court within half a year, a couple months, and get that modified to be the appropriate amount.
Yeah. Mark, you know what I tell people all the time, the order, and this goes for all aspects of all cases, the order is the order until there's a new order. So you got to follow the order. Now, by the way, in Georgia, there's a little known statute, and people can contact me on this one, where if you suffer a loss of income of more than, I believe it's 25%, then you can actually, I need to just revisit that statute, make sure I'm not getting it wrong. But there are some very beneficial components to that statute where if you suffer a loss of more than 25%, I believe you can immediately reduce your child support. We'll have to look into that a little bit more. But guys, if you're in that situation, don't wait. And read the statutes. Read OCGA 9615. That's all about child support. Read 1993. And you just Google these things. And, they're written in easy enough language to where you can probably get the gist of it. But don't rely on your own understanding of it and then go sign papers. But I do encourage people, read this stuff, man. I don't wear a cape. Most I wear is a jacket, but I don't wear a cape. So do your own reading, do your own research. If you're going to do that, make sure, though, that what you're reading is applicable to your state. Don't bring me something that is going on in California and how great they have it in California, because I can point to another state where they have it much, much, much worse. There's some states up north where I believe child support could even go through like the end of college or something like that.
Here in New York, I think it's 21 it can go through.
Yeah,
Texas, and there's 4 or 5 other states that they don't care about time. They don't care about the custody split. It's just based on how much the payer makes, like you mentioned, Georgia used to be. So yeah, a lot of these common issues, the easiest way to get information, obviously, read it directly from the statute. And if it's a major issue, probably just about every law firm in your area will have written on the issue. And read it. Take 5 minutes to read a couple articles, see if you can get the gist of it.
Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, give me a call, send me an email. I'm here to help you guys.